Hey everyone, I'm Delaina Burns and I'm live tonight with Flying Unicorn. And I just want to take a minute to welcome everybody and thank you very much for joining us. We're going to do this every Wednesday night. Hope you're catching on that we've been doing this for a few weeks now and we're loving it, so we hope you're loving it. Please give us some feedback if you can on Facebook, on Flying Unicorn's Facebook page or my Facebook page or any of the other teachers that you've actually seen on here. We'd love to hear. Um, what you're thinking about the shows. I'm going to take the glasses off. It's causing a little bit too much glare. But we just want to welcome you, and I've got a few announcements that I want to go over first, just before we get the show started. Um, First thing we want to point out is over on Flying Unicorn store, there's a 10% off sale tonight and for a week on the products that I'm going to use in this class tonight. So any of the products that are still in stock, you can purchase those for 10% off. We'll be having a back to school we will be having a back to school special store wide this weekend. So stay tuned for that. Alda's working something up for you for that. So for back to school. So just stay tuned to the blog or the Facebook page for more details on that. Jennifer Snyder, is going to be creating for us next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. She'll be creating a canister, so be sure and check that out. She's going to be using the Authentic paper line. And again, 9 o'clock next Wednesday night, same place, same time. Be sure and come back and join us. And also make sure to like us on our Facebook page. Go to Flying Unicorn Facebook page. And there'll be, let's see, next week we will be having random racks for our wonderful followers. So pay attention to that. Alda sends great racks. Also tonight, speaking of racks, we're going to have a giveaway tonight on the show. And just want to ask if one of you ladies, maybe Jennifer, if you would do just a random draw for me with the ladies that are on the actual chat. And Alda's going to be giving away the Pion Design Precious Daughters 6x6 paper sheets. That's the line that I'm going to actually be creating this beautiful mini album with tonight. So that's Pion Designs, and it's the Precious Daughter line. So I've welcomed you. I've given you our announcements. I'll try to remember at the end to go back and give you the announcements again. So for now, I want to just get started with the class. Let me pan down and see if we can get this started. I've got a new setup with my camera tonight, so I hope I don't make you dizzy. Let me get my chat back up before I move over. Okay, here we go. We're going to pan down. I'm going to try to get this so that you can see it. Just want to raise it up just a little. Get this so you can see it. Not upside down. Trying just a new little camera configuration here so you can see it right side up. There we go. I think we've got it. Maybe need to raise it just a little bit higher, so bear with me just one more minute if you don't mind. Just a little bit higher so I can pan out just a little bit and get more. Okay, I think this is it. This is the album that I'm going to be creating for you. Because of time, I'm only going to have the actual cover for you on the video. But once the video's over, if you will head over to my blog, I'll have all the step-by-step photos and or actually not step-by-step photos, but I'll have actual photos of each individual page so you can see how I actually did the pages. And I'm going to take just a minute to kind of go through the album and show you. You can see, again, it's the Pion Designs and it's the Precious Daughter collection. It is just so pretty, and with a daughter myself and the pretty little granddaughter, it's a really pretty set. The purples are absolutely gorgeous. You can see these vintagey, high-profile Prima flowers, some of my favorites ever. I will be hoarding these for a long time, I know. Beautiful resin frames and some wood mixed in, So just going to kind of move on and show you just the pages. And not a really difficult album on the inside. You see I'm just using some of the tags and some of the cut pieces with the little phrases on the actual printed paper. So just kind of cut those out and use your flowers to embellish. I've inked some of the wood pieces to include in here. Again, one of the little resin fairies, and all of this is coming from, or the majority of this is coming from the August Kit of the Month. So you can see all the different papers, just layers and layers of embellishments. A really big incentive with this album is to get all the kits because I've used a little bit from every one of the kits in August. All four of the kits I've used a little bit. Even the sprays that I used, one of them here was included in one of the kits. So it's just really, the kits are loaded always. So really pretty collection of stuff here, and you can see the pages. I'm turning them kind of quickly, but as soon as the show is over, I'll post the video along with all the photos. So give me about an hour after the actual video live is done, and that should be posted there for you. So you can just kind of see how this is going. The back's just pretty simple with one of the printed papers. Okay, so we want to go ahead and get started. We'll put our album off to the side, and I'll show you what I started with. The cover and the back is just a 6x6. Actually, it's a 6.5 by 6.5 inch piece of chipboard. So it's 6.5 by 6.5. And that's for the back and also for the front cover. So tonight, like I said, we're just going to be working on the front cover. The next layer I actually got from this piece of paper here, and I've said it a dozen times, but it's from the My Precious Daughter collection by Pion Designs. And just really quickly, I want this script page right here. That's what I'm going to start with. That'll be one of our layers. And these are printed well. You can just line them up and cut them out. And these pages are what I've done the inside of the album with. I have used some of the 12 by 12 papers as well, but the majority of the pages inside the album are done with these little 6 by 6. And I just took two of them and put them back to back and just glued them together, and that's how I made the inside pages. But for now, we just want this script for our actual front cover. The next thing I want to do is show you a couple of other papers that I've used and a few fussy cut pieces that I've got here. I actually used this paper here, and you can see I fussy cut from the sides. I did not do that on camera. I just wanted to spare you all those minutes of agony there. So what I'm going to do is with my piece of chipboard, I'm just going to mark this paper here, and what I'm going to use is this corner here that I did not use for the fussy cut area. If you have the kit, or if you have these papers or any paper that you choose to work with, you can pretty much do this with any paper you want. I kind of wanted a solid background, so I chose this cream colored. It's got a little pattern in it, but not a lot. I'm going to have to cut this selvage off here real quick so I can get this all the way in. But you'll see it blends really well with all the layers that'll be added on top of it, and it's a really easy cut. I don't use a ruler a lot. I don't like to do a lot of measuring, so it's really easy when you can just grab something and mark, and there you go. Okay, so we have our piece of paper here. Lay all this other to the side. And what you want to do first is glue this down to your chipboard. And before I do that, just because I'm always a little worried about my outside edge showing, I want to go in with a little purple ink and actually ink the outside of my chipboard. And that's only because you'll be able to see the side of this chipboard. You'll have paper adhered to the front and the back. So when you see the sides here, you will have you'll have a color versus just your chipboard showing. So I want to grab our Fabri-Tac. Y'all know I'm a Fabri-Tac crazy woman. Everything. This is a new bottle. Obviously, I'm not prepared. Let me grab my scissors and take the little, whatever this is, the little stopper, mess preventer, whatever it is. I'll make a mess before it's over. And reattach. I remembered to clip the end. I just forgot to take the little tab out. So I just tap my glue on. A little bit of this goes a long way, but I kind of like to have it pretty evenly covered so that I don't have any bubbles in there. And this one's going to be really well layered, so you're not going to see a lot anyway. Let's use the proper side to this so that it inks properly. That's the kind of stuff you do when you're not live, but live is live. Okay. Ink our sides up real good. And you just want to kind of lay this down. And I like to kind of move it around just a little bit to get that glue kind of evenly dispersed. So I just wiggle it just a little. That also helps it dry a little bit quicker. You can always roll a brayer over it, or whatever you like. But this is going to be pretty well layered, so it's not gonna show if you do get a bubble or two under there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I've got another piece of chipboard here, and I just kind of whacked it out. I wasn't real careful with my cut. I wanted it smaller than the outside chipboard, and also a little bit smaller than my 6-inch piece of script paper here, because I'm going to actually layer this between those. I like to give a little bit of dimension, so I want to layer another piece of chipboard, and I'll just put a little glue there and just adhere it right down to the center. Give it a little wiggle as well. Dries faster and it prevents those bubbles. I want to add a little glue to this. This is a dark kind of eggplant color. I wanted a really dark purple for this. So just ink your sides up. I like inking. Inking creates more depth, so take a minute with your projects and add ink, only because it does give you a little more detail to that edge, and it does help to create a little more depth. Again, we're going to just sort of evenly disperse the glue. If you're not a Fabri-Tac fan, you can use any adhesive you want. The wet glue gives you a minute to move it around. A little forgiving for just a moment. You can kind of slide it around and get it where you want it. I want to be sure I'm staying in the camera, so y'all holler at me if I get off camera. Okay, the next thing I want to do before I go a lot farther is go ahead and punch my holes. And I just want to remember where I did my holes on this album. Grab the ruler. This is one thing I will measure for. About 1 inch and 3/4 from each end. I want to just probably do it from here. And this is going to be a really good reason for this wet glue. I'm going to shift this over out of my way for just a minute and measure 1 inch and 3/4 right about here, and 1 inch and 3/4 right about here. And I want to go in about 3/4 of an inch. I'm using my Crocodile. It's going to actually punch through the chipboard and the paper, and my hole is obviously filled with my last project. So I'm going to remove that and just pop it through. Just like so. Okay, we have our hole punch there. Then we're just going to slide this right back over, and you see you have just a minute to move that back into place. So that's why I love the wet glue. It gives you just a minute to play. Okay, so we have that layer there. Remove some of our mess. The next thing I want to show you is going to be our third layer. And I got this, and again, this is a fussy cut piece. This was on this paper in this corner here. So I fussy cut this, the inside and the outside. I was not real careful. I did it really quickly. But what I want to do is pop this up off the paper just a little bit. And what I'm going to use is cardboard. Y'all are welcome to use your Pop Dots or whatever you use. I like cardboard. I just like the idea of it being kind of a recycled, I needed a little bit smaller maybe, kind of a little recycling thing, and it doesn't shift. Once you've applied your cardboard, it is there to stay. Sometimes I have a problem with the clear Pop Dots moving around or something like that. If you don't, that's great. I love cardboard. And it's free. Sometimes I'll clip the edges just a little so that it doesn't show. If you are a little more picky about it, you can always paint the cardboard a white color or ink it a color if you're worried about seeing it under your album. Sometimes I do. I did not on this project, but that is an idea if you are worried about it showing. Painting it whatever color you're using, or usually a white color or a cream color will work, and you can ink those up, really quick. But for now, we're not going to do that. There's a lot going on this album, and a lot of this is covered in the end anyway. Okay, so we've got just a little bit on our four sides. I feel like I'm moving off camera again. A little bit on our four sides, and I'm just going to add just a dot of glue to each corner, and then I'm going to center it. And I don't believe there's an up or a down to this. I don't think it matters. So I'm just going to center it right here. Now I wanted this to blend a little more, so I did not ink the edges of this, if you noticed. You can ink the edges if you want. I wanted this a little more subtle, so I did not do that on this one. And I need to find my other fussy cut pieces that I have for here. So these are the pieces that I cut from that first background paper. I do want to add a little ink to these, and I'm just going to do that really quickly all around. All of this is not going to show, so it's going to be covered by flowers or frames or whatever we're going to be layering up here, so don't worry about being real precise with this. Just give it a little quick ink. And first thing we want to do here is the fussy cut piece with our little ticket, and you can see I just kind of cut in and got a few shapes of the flowers and the little ticket, and I left the edge squared from the corner of the paper, because what I'm going to do is just tuck it in right in behind so that our square edge is kind of hid behind our little frame area right there. You can see that that's kind of hid. The next thing I want to do is this other piece, and I want to put it in the other corner to the left here, so I'm just going to kind of get it a little, poke it under your cardboard there just a little if you need to. And that straight edge you want just under your framed area right there. But you can see all by itself that is pretty. This is just beautiful paper. It's vintagey, it's shabby, it's girly, it's purple, it's just beautiful. So it is just, it's really a gorgeous, gorgeous kit, gorgeous line of paper. So if you didn't get the kit, check out the store and grab you some of this paper while it's still there. And keep chatting. Hopefully you'll win the 6x6 pieces. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is add our frames. And you can see they're the Prima Shabby Chic Treasures. So first we're just going to pull our frames out. I want to lay this to the side just for a minute because we've got something else to kind of concentrate on here. We want all three of our frames. And we need to find the girls. There are 3 girls that I used inside the frames, and you have a lot to choose from here. You can see even in some of the other papers, the ones that I did not choose, you've got the baby dolls that I want to find, and I should have done that before I got going here. So let's find the girls. You've got angels or cherubs. It is just beautiful paper. Every inch. And you see the 12 by 12 has the larger version of the 6 by 6. Beautiful crowns. Okay, I am not finding them. One moment. Sorry about this. I should have done this before. Probably are on the back side. Should have done this for you ahead of time. Just a minute. I don't want a silent moment here, but I am afraid maybe that piece of paper was, oh, found it. Here it is, right here. Sorry about that. I did have it. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I've done here is just picked one that I felt like fit in the frame pretty, and this is the one that I actually used for the larger frame. So to get her in there, I just sort of lined up my frame, and really quickly I just chopped her out all the way around. Just like so. So you can see that's it. So I want to add a little glue to the back of my frame. A little here, a little on the bottom. Really just need a dot at the top and the bottom. That'll hold these in. There's not going to be any weight or anything on them, so you can just kind of get them in there. Next, I want to do this little lady right here. A little teeny tiny face in this little tiny beautiful scalloped frame. Just line her up and just chop is probably a pretty harsh word, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of chopping it out. So we get her out, and you can see there she is. Again, we're going to add a little glue to the top. Fabri-Tac sticks to the resin, sticks to the paper. It's sort of a all-in-one kind of glue, so it's one of the reasons I love it. Got a little excess here that I want to cut off. Okay, so we have her framed. Next, we want to use this one and kind of grab her. This frame has, I want to be sure how I'm using it. This frame has a little bit of a different shape. Really doesn't matter. I just kind of wanted this, this, I guess, protruding inside the frame. I wanted it at the bottom. I didn't want that sitting on top of her head. So that's the only difference with that frame. I was a little pickier with the way I placed her. Now, you don't have to use these, girls, if you're not using this line of paper, or you have photos of your family member, or, I can see pictures of my grandbaby in this. I just love these little dolls, and I just thought they made the prettiest little shabby vintagey cover. So, but you are definitely welcome to use your own photos for these, or choose other dolls, any direction you want to take it. Okay, so we have that right there. Clean our mess up just a little bit. The next thing I want to do is alter the frames just a little bit. I want to use some color on them. So I'm going to grab these little pearl shimmer powdery things, and I'm just going to stick my fingers in there and just brush it right over the top of these frames. And just stick your fingers in. And just brush it all around. Kind of got two colors of these, and they're just a really fine powder, but they're really, really shiny, really kind of, I mean, it's glittery, but it's just very delicate. Do it on all three of them. A little bit of it goes a long way. I don't want to cover all the white up, so I'm not going to put a lot or enough, I guess, to cover the entire frame. I do want some of the white showing through, so I'm not going to be real precise with this. And I can tap this off. Some of it's kind of getting in on the photo, but I can tap it away when I'm done. Okay, and that is just really quick process there. I'm just going to tap it and get the excess out of the photo view. Okay, just kind of move this to the side. Wipe my fingers. I've got a paper towel here. I just want to kind of wipe the excess away. And you can see even on my mat here, it just makes it really shiny. It makes it extra shiny. Okay, so we want to go back to our cover. I need a wipe. Probably got to brought my wipes out. I could have used a wipe on the mat. That would have removed it better. Okay, so what I want to start with is this frame. This is where I started my design. And I knew I wanted it raised up off of my cover. So I'm going to start with adding some cardboard behind that. And I want it raised up pretty high. So I'm actually going to add two layers of the cardboard behind this frame, because I do want it really raised. So we'll add one, and I sort of cut the corners off because I want to be able to tuck in and behind this. I didn't want the whole back covered with cardboard. So my top layer is going to be even a little smaller than that, only because I want to be able to tuck and add embellishments in and behind it. So just kind of cut our corners off, and that'll help. And if I need to remove more, I can always cut more away. But just so you see, that's where I started. That's what I wanted, and that's sort of where my design began. The next thing I want to add is this really pretty little vine, and it's a Prima. I guess it's called a vine. It is a mini bouquet, but it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I just love it. And I just want to shape it just a little bit. I'm going to kind of bring the two together and just shape it up, because I'm going to kind of lay it in and behind like this. I'm going to move my leaves around, and I will adjust this as I glue things down and move things around on the cover, but for now I want it just about like this. And the next thing I want to do is cut. Um, you could leave this, but I want to kind of cut the end here off. I don't want that showing. So I'm going to cut off about an inch and well, about an inch and a quarter probably. And the Tim Holtz scissors are great to do that. They cut right through it. It's pretty thick wire, but they do cut right through. So just kind of move your leaves up and around and out of your way. I'm going to kind of fold this one and this one kind of down because we want room here for our actual frame to lay. So I'm going to add a little glue just kind of to the vine area. I don't want to go real high. You can put it on a few of the leaves. I don't want the glue to show behind the viney part of the flower. So I just want to kind of lay this right about here. And that's going to give enough room for our frame to be placed right about here. Just kind of move your leaves up and out of the way. And we want to place our frame right about there. And I can go ahead and adhere that down by adding just a little bit of glue to our top piece of cardboard there. Just kind of adhere that. And you can kind of see where this is going now. Got that right about there. The next thing I have are these absolutely beautiful vintage Prima roses. They are very high profile, but they are absolutely gorgeous. Some of my favorite flowers, I think, ever. I really do love them. Just kind of cut one off with the Tim Holtz scissors. And we're not going to need really any of this stem. I'm going to leave just a little just to kind of help me glue. What I'm going to do first is kind of roll these petals back just a little bit out of our way. Gives them a more natural kind of look. And I want to kind of work it in so that it lays pretty flat in this area. So we've got this one right about there. Just preserve our leaves for just a few minutes. And I want to cut one more and lay these to the side. We have one more here. And again, I'm not going to need the stem, so I'm only going to leave just a little and just preserve our leaves there. And this is the same as the other. We just want to roll back these petals just a little. Gives it a more natural, naturey appeal. I don't know. I don't have words. Or maybe I don't have words in my southern language, but anyway, it just makes it a little bit prettier, a little more detail. That's what we're after. Detail, always detail. Kind of bend your stem down, just kind of pinch it down. So we want these to lay just about like that. Kind of getting the feel of that. I want to grab one of these leaves and bend it down. These leaves will be kind of our foliage in the background, so just want to kind of play around with them as we go. So I want to turn this over and add some glue. And the Fabri-Tac's going to give us a minute to kind of play with it and decide where exactly we want it to stay. But I just want to be sure that kind of roll this back enough. Okay, we're going to add some glue to the back. You need a pretty good bit of glue, so because you want it to be able to grab all of these layers so that it stays kind of laid down in place. Got that just about like that. And I can already tell you I am missing a couple of my flowers. I did not bring them out with me, so I'm probably going to have to run into my workroom and grab my other flowers, but for now we're going to keep on moving with our other pieces. We have some of this Studio Calico chipboard, also included in the kit. Love these pieces. They're little foliage pieces, little leaves, the little butterflies. There's some little hearts. Um, Lots of little pieces here that you can add. Okay, and really quick, I'm getting in the habit of doing this, but I'm going to have to run really quick and grab my flowers because I do want to do my bouquet before I actually poke those in. So y'all chat away. Bear with me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. I could not in a hurry find the exact flowers that I used, so I'm just going to improvise with a few of these. Um, they are paper and they will be inked, so that will help us. Just want a few small roses. And that is the beauty of doing a project yourself. It doesn't have to be exactly like the first. You can change it up and improvise where you need to create at least a similar project. I like sisters. I don't like twins. I say that a lot, but it's true. I don't think any project should be necessarily exactly the same when I create it. So I'm just going to ink this up just a little with the dark purple ink, and we will add it in right about here. Also want to grab from this pack here a little bit different shape flower. Let's grab a few of these. These are really pretty. I like these. I didn't see these when I was originally making it, or I might have grabbed a few of these anyway. But let's grab a few of these and add. We want a really full cluster here. That's the objective. So these have little wires. So I like to leave a little bit of wire because it helps with the sturdiness of them. Kind of helps you be able to move around their center because this is connecting the center to the flower. So I just like to kind of play around with them and move my centers around. So let's add these right about here. This Fabri-Tac is very stringy, but it's like hot glue. When you're finished, you can just pull the strings away. They pull away just like hot glue does. So let's add those right about there. I want to add these. I want to leave this pink color and not ink it this particular time, so we'll add it right about here. And then kind of on top of our frame here. And what I want to do now is go in and add a little glue to the back of our other frames. Now that I can kind of see the cluster working its way around, I want to add our other frame right about here, just so the little girl is peeking out. You don't want to cover her up, but you want part of the frame kind of tucked under. Add a little glue to the small frame, and we're going to add it right about here on the top of the larger frame, and just tuck her in just enough so that you can still see her, but so that a little bit of it is kind of tucked in and behind. I'm going to add a little ink to this flower, give it a little darker purple effect. Love these paper roses. You can spray them, you can ink them, you can do a lot of things to change their colors, and make them work with your project. So I have these in every color. Tuck this in right about here. Then I want to grab a darker one, maybe one of these green ones. Grab one of these green ones. Add a little glue. Oh, we've got plenty of time. I just looked up and saw the time. How's everybody doing with the chat? I am not talented enough to read the chat and teach. I wish I was, but I can't seem to follow it. Oh, I see Robbie's here. Hey, Robbie. Hey, Barbara. I'm missing so many people being able to say hey, so let me just say hey to everybody. Right off the bat, I am terrible at keeping up with this. Okay, I think I want one more of these little style flowers here. Just want to clip it, little wire there. I like uneven numbers most of the time, so I'm seeing 3 of these instead of 2. So let's just tuck that in right about there. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is kind of lay this to the side here. Let's clean our mess up just a little. And I want to show you how I've altered the wood pieces. I've used a few butterflies and one of the little berry pieces. I've used some of the leaves. I just want to pull some of these out. Small butterflies. Let's see. I think I've used all small butterflies. Doesn't matter. We can always change this up. Some of the smaller leaves. Okay, and what I've done with the leaves is I've actually taken this, it's called pastel brown ink, and first just did a layer of the pastel brown ink all over. And then I took a green ink. This is like, it's called English Ivy. And this is a Suprema chalk edger, but take the green ink and go over lightly. You want to see some of the beigey brown color come through. So I'm going to do the same thing. And I do both sides because I never know in which direction I want to put the actual leaf. Or the leaf may show. It may stick out away from the album a little bit and it may show. So I always color both sides just in case. Then I don't have a problem kind of flipping it over if I need to. But add just a little bit of green. Be sure to let some of your beigey color shine through. Your fingers are going to be a mess, but just continue to add. Okay, and the same thing with your butterflies. I want to use this kind of beigey ink, and I'm just going to kind of press it down on the butterflies here. And I'm always really careful with my Prima mat. Y'all know this Prima mat that I love, that I love so much. I don't put anything on it that I can't clean off of it. I'm very particular about this mat, so this must wash up when I'm done. And then I want to go back to this little powdery goodness here and just dot. It helps when you've added a little ink and then dot this on. Helps it to stick a little better. Just makes them shiny and beautiful. It's making my mat shiny and beautiful too, but we will wash it away very soon. Okay, use a little paper towel on the fingers for just a minute. Okay, the next thing I want to do now, let those dry for just a minute. You can use your heat tool if you want to. You don't have, you don't have to. You can let them dry for just a minute. Kind of lay them off to the side. Oh, we have one more to do. Sorry. I want to do one of the little berry pieces. So what I'm going to do is just with the dark purple ink, just on the little berry section, I'm going to use that. And then the little leaf section, I'm going to, in the stem, I'm going to use the green. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with just a little bit of the shimmery goodness here and add that to the berry. Isn't that just, can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, how pretty that is. But it is just so pretty. It's so shiny and pretty. So we'll let that dry for just a minute. And I don't know that it really needs to dry, but I just feel like everything has to dry for a minute. Okay, so now we want to go in with a little bit of our foliage. I want to grab a few of these leaves that came off of our roses and cut these apart. Just want to cut them apart. And I want to add a little purple ink to them, just to their little corners here, or their little edges, just up to the tip of their little edges. I want to add a little purple, dark purple. I'm going to add a little glue to the back of these. And then I want to just tuck these in, kind of in and around these flowers. And they have a little wire behind them so you can shape them. And just add a little purple ink. And I don't know why I like to add the purple. It just gives that little extra bit of dimension to them because they have a little bit of a two-toned color. And it helps them blend with all the flowers that you've used. I'm going to add this just under here so that it's peeking out from the bottom and you can kind of see that it's right there. I'll grab another one. That's one of a little bit larger one than that. So add a little bit of ink to this one. Our time's getting away from us. We are so close to finished, but there would have been no way to have done the entire album tonight for sure. Just want to kind of tuck this in right here, just so that it's kind of protruding right there, and the little wire behind it helps you kind of bend it and place it. Okay, it's so funny, my grandbaby is FaceTiming me right now and I can't answer the phone. Bless her. Okay, next thing we want to add here are our wood leaves. Want to add just a little bit of glue behind them, kind of close to the bottom, and I want to just put that in right about there. And you can see we have a little foliage under it with our little flower, and we'll add it right there. Grab our other leaf, our other wooden leaf I should say, and I want to add it, and I want to add glue kind of to both sides here so we can kind of tuck it in right about there. So you can see all the layers. It just sort of bursts with layer of color, and the green and the purple and the white and the script. It's just so pretty. It just makes it so pretty. Okay, next we want to add our little berry. I'm going to add it right in and behind. Kind of lift that flower with your fingernails and just tuck that in right about there. And we want to add our butterfly. We want to add one right about there. And then we want to add one more just to our little purple stem right about there. And I don't think I used 3 on the original, but I think I'll add one more. Maybe right here. We'll just tuck it in right about here. I think that's kind of pretty right there. Next we have, let me find them, we have some little crystal pieces. And I know they're here somewhere. Okay, we want to add in some crystal pieces. You can see these little pieces here. These are also in the kit, and they come on these little vines like this. I just cut a piece off and just add a little glue kind of to the end. Fabri-Tac's going to dry clear, so if you get it on one of your crystals, it's perfectly okay. Just tuck it in right about here. And these can be shaped once the glue is dried. You'll be able to go in and shape these however you want them. Add this just under our little leaf area there. And I could just add and add and add these, but I won't. We are getting very close to time. Add this right in and behind here. You just want a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a glitter, kind of something to reflect the light. So we're going to cut this one off kind of short because we're going to add it right in here, and it needs to be kind of small. We want to tuck it in, and we don't want it to be out beyond the frames. So we're going to add it right about there. Okay, Karen says I'm out of focus. Okay, not sure what's happening to our focus. Let me clean some of this stuff away, see if it's trying to focus on other items. I've lost my mouse. Okay, how is that? Is that getting better? Okay, it may just be that we have so much white in here in this area. Okay, how's that? Is that better? Okay, our last step here that we want to do is, let's see if we can stop this by adding something dark. I'm not really sure what's happened. Okay, well, doesn't seem to be anything I can do about it. Just kind of hold it up out of the way. The next thing I want to add here is just a little bit of the snow, and this was also included in the kit. And didn't really have this in my original picture. This was sort of an afterthought, but I just want to add it just in a few areas, just like so, to give us that little snowy kind of effect. Just adds to that vintage feel and the shabbiness of it. I think the blurry is better, but you can see just with my little spatula, I'm just going to add this to a few places, kind of to the corners of the butterflies and to the leaves. But you can see this is no wrong way to add this. You don't want to cover your entire album cover, but you just want to add a touch here or there, just to give it that little kind of snowy effect. Or if you don't like the snow, by all means don't add it. Just leave it just the way it was. But that's it. That's our cover, and you can see that really simple. Nothing hard. The fussy cutting is the most time-consuming part. of it. And I want to show you again real quickly the finished album. This is our original cover, and this is the cover that we made tonight. So you can see, pretty simple to put back together. I hope you'll try it and let me know that you have. Posted over on Flying Unicorns Facebook. Um, Visit my blog. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around real quick. I'm going to pan back up onto me. So bear with me just a minute if you would. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So that's our cover. You can see all done. I hope the focus got better for y'all. Something about the white tends to take the focus out. But that is our show for tonight. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget, next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, be here for Jennifer. Did somebody pick a winner? Jennifer, did you choose a winner? Thanks, everybody. The album's just really fun to make. Okay, well, okay, winner. Okay, I'm not, okay. Obviously, I can't follow the chat because I'm not seeing who the winner is. Okay, looks like Jessica won. Okay, that's great. Is that Jess? Okay, great. Yay, 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 Jess. Okay. Um, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, y'all. This was really fun, and I can't wait to be back with you again. And y'all be sure and tune in next week at 9 o'clock Eastern Time for Jennifer Snyder. Y'all have a great evening. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.